Imagine a man in the 20th century, no weapons, no army, just barefoot steps that would awaken a nation. Why? For a handful of salt. Yes, salt. But that salt became the symbol of resistance that shook the foundations of an empire. Gandhi's Salt March, or the Dandi March, remains one of the most peaceful yet powerful uprisings in history. In this video, we'll take you on that quiet, determined journey. Ready? Let's begin. By the late 18th century, India had become a colony of the British Empire. With its rich lands, massive labor force, and natural resources, it was invaluable to the British. But the exploitation wasn't just about land. Even the most basic human needs were taxed, including salt. The British banned Indians from producing their own salt. The people had to buy it from the British, at high prices with heavy taxes. A vital mineral, essential for survival, was now under colonial control. This unjust monopoly over something as basic as salt became a symbol of broader oppression. Gandhi saw this clearly. To him, it was the perfect metaphor for the unjust nature of colonial rule. Gandhi had long been crafting a strategy of peaceful resistance against British rule. He called it Satyagraha, a philosophy of non-violence, truth, and moral courage. In December 1929, the Indian National Congress officially declared its goal: complete independence from British rule. Gandhi knew a symbolic yet powerful act was needed to ignite the people's spirit, and he chose salt. "We will make our own salt," Gandhi announced. This was not a call to violence, it was a call to walk. Gandhi and 78 volunteers set out from Sabarmati Ashram in Gujarat on March 12, 1930. Their destination, the coastal village of Dandi, 390 kilometers away. The march would last 24 days, averaging 16 kilometers per day. Gandhi and his companions stopped in villages, spoke with locals, spread their message, and exposed the injustice of British laws. With each passing day, more people joined. Indian and international journalists followed the march. What began as a quiet protest was now drawing global attention. A march of a few dozen became thousands, then hundreds of thousands. Workers went on strike. Farmers rose in support. Even women, long kept from political life, took an active role in this movement. This was no longer just about salt. It was about freedom. On April 6, 1930, Gandhi reached the shores of Dandi. At dawn, he bent down and picked up a lump of salt. That's all. But this simple act was illegal. Gandhi had defied British law. What followed was a wave of defiance across the country. Thousands traveled to the coast and began producing salt themselves, just like Gandhi. The British authorities were overwhelmed. In response, they arrested more than 60,000 people. Gandhi himself was jailed on May 5, 1930, but it was too late. The nation had awakened. Gandhi's Salt March shook not just India but the world. British newspapers covered it extensively. American journalist Webb Miller accompanied the march and reported on British police brutality against peaceful protesters. His reports outraged international audiences. Gandhi became more than a national leader. He was now a global symbol of peace and resistance. The Salt March proved that non-violent civil disobedience could be more powerful than any weapon. Future leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela would later draw direct inspiration from Gandhi. The Salt March marked a turning point in India's struggle for independence. Though freedom didn't come immediately, this event unified the nation, gained international support, and undermined the legitimacy of British rule. In 1942, Gandhi launched the Quit India movement, and finally, in 1947, India achieved independence. Today, Gandhi's Salt March is remembered in schools, museums, and annual ceremonies. The original route is protected. Every year, thousands retrace his steps in homage. What happens when a man carries not a weapon but an idea? Gandhi showed us. A handful of salt became a symbol of resistance. The Salt March entered history not with violence, but with quiet determination. What would we walk for today? And is peaceful resistance still possible in our time?